I can't hear the music.
The Ramones, Blondie, Talking Heads, Yankees, Mets, Giants, Jets, L-I-E-G-W-B, FTR, and the BQE. Bus stops, taxi drivers, walk, ups and high-rises, Dicker Street and Mulberry, and the Staten Island Ferry, Rikers Island, Wall Street, MoMA, Lady Liberty, Park Slope, Brooklyn Heights, Williamsburg, and Bed-Stuy. Watch out.
Welcome to my show tonight. And the difference tonight than any other night is tonight we have no guests. I'm going to talk topics because there's a lot of things out there that are bothering me.
A lot of things that you have on your mind.
A lot of things that I have on my mind, and I just have to get them off.
Yes.
First of all, is there noise in this audience or what? It's from over there. I figured so much. All right. First of all, Little Italy is shrinking. And,
Uh-oh.
hello. I'm trying to do a show over here. You guys are fucking talking.
I'm trying to do it.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. We'll talk tomorrow. So Little Italy is shrinking. And that's because these Italians that bought those buildings in the 50s and 60s, you know, for practically nothing, 100,000, 85,000. Somebody comes along and says, hey, I'll give you $1 million for the building. They take the money and they run. They go to Staten Island like they're going somewhere. That's why Little Italy is shrinking. Now, there's another problem out there. Now we got de Blasio. Now, he's a person that I did not vote for. And I'll tell you why.
73% voted for him. It was
70
a landslide
73.
win.
Well, I was
So you were one of the
that did not.
few.
Right.
Yes.
Because, you know, I was born in New York. I lived here all my life. I didn't vote for him because, as far as I'm concerned, you know, he looked like a phony to me.
He
You know?
did, really?
Yeah, he came off like a phony. And then, second of all, when he was elected mayor, before he even was elected mayor, first thing he said was, "I'm going to eliminate horse and buggy from New York."
Yeah, you're not too
Now-
happy about that.
Yeah. Now, how are you going to eliminate? First of all, that should be the people's choice. Who the hell is he to say, I'm going to eliminate horse and buggy? You know, cruelty to animals. Okay, fine. I'm all for it. You know, if those horses are being mistreated, then take the license away from that guy. Take the horse away. Don't just eliminate them all. Those horses should work single shifts, not double shifts, 7 days a week. Give them a break. Single shift today, the next day double shift, single shift the next day, but 6 days a week. And check those horses out. Make sure that they're properly being fed. They got new shoes on. And then you have, you want to eliminate them. Then you got these three-wheel bicycles in New York that are ripping people off. You have, I was in a cab, and it was a three-wheeler bicycle right next to me. And as he went by, he hit the bus, just scraped the bus. The bus driver probably didn't even know it. And what the hell does he care? It's a city bus, it's not his property. But they bang into people. You know, I was on the corner of 49th Street and Broadway.
Okay.
I was trying to get a cab back downtown to back down to Broome Street.
Okay.
I was having a hard time getting a cab. A town car pulls up, says, hey, how far you going? Sit down at Broome Street. Says, hop in. I said, how much? $50. Forget it. I said, a cab charges me 20. Says, how much you want to pay? I don't pay nothing. I pay you $20, $25. All right, give me 40. I was ready to go. I said, nah, forget it. Then the guy with the bicycle came by. Said, hey, how far you going? I said, down to Broome Street. He said, oh, come on, I'll bring you. I said, how much? Me $100. $100?
That is crazy.
I said, are you nuts? All right, give me 75. Now, I'm going to get in that thing for $75. It was freezing out there. By the time he brings me home, I'll catch
make
a
it.
pneumonia. That's number one. It would take me an hour and a half. for $75 when I could have been in a town car for $40. And I would have got home in 15 minutes. You know, so they're ripping off people. Now, on the corner of 44th Street and 8th Avenue, I happen to be going to a restaurant over there, and I see this argument in the street between a guy that just got out of off of that three-wheel bicycle, and he's arguing with the guy. So he hands the guy $40. He says, the guy says, no, it's $85. So the guy says, well, you told me $40. He said, I told you about 40, but it's...
But no, it's doubled.
You know, but yeah, but it's it took me much longer to get here, and it's $5 a minute. And I was standing there looking, the guy looked at me and goes, and what do you want?
Huh.
I said, you're talking to the wrong guy. You know
He
what I
didn't
mean?
know who he was
So
talking
he was
to.
arguing with the guy, and the guy didn't want to give him $85. So a cop walked by, and I said, I think these guys are having a problem over there. So the guy told him, he says, well, you told me $40, now he wants $85. The guy said, just give him the 40, told the guy on the bicycle, get out of here.
But I think there are people that pay for that. Mostly tourists do pay for
well,
that because
they don't
find
know
it,
any better.
No, and they find it as an attraction. They come to New York City, they want to be in the, you know, just be on the street, not have to be in a cab or in some sort of
Yeah,
car
but they're getting ripped
vehicle.
off.
But they don't know better.
Well, you're right, they don't. Well, first of all, if the people have a half a brain, they should say to them, well, I'm going from this point to that point. How much will it cost me? I mean, that's just common sense. Well, supposedly this is what this guy did, and the guy said about $40. But when he got there, it was $85. So I could see why the guy didn't want to give him $85.
Well, yeah.
So now, Giuliani, de Blasio, here he is talking about horse and buggies. He should think about these guys with the three-wheel bicycle that are
Actually,
ripping
he
everybody
is
off.
because he wants to cut down on traffic fatalities that
Yeah.
happen due to all these accidents that are happening
Yeah.
in New York City.
Because
it's,
of the,
not necessarily because of that, but there's a lot of accidents happening due to traffic, and I'm sure that's
Due to traffic.
I'm sure that's taking part of it.
Okay.
So he's definitely trying to get some new measures out, new policies out, because there's been so many fatalities, close to as many homicides last year. Traffic fatalities.
Okay, well, I can understand it, but this guy, what he should do, he should worry about his problems at home before he worries about horse and buggies. He's got problems. I don't even want to get into it. But you want to know something? He didn't mention about his problems at home until he was elected. So that's another story.
But do you think that should be our business, though? If he does well in public life,
Well,
it
you know,
doesn't
I'm going
matter
to give
what.
him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
I don't want to pick on him too much, but I just hope, it would be nice to know that we have a mayor. If you wake up in the morning knowing that we have a mayor that's going to help people out, help the homeless, and do things right for the city, rather than worry about horse and buggy. They've been around for decades, longer than before he was even born, you know? And then you got 96th Street, and this was last week.
Yeah.
An Oriental girl was crossing the street. She got hit by a mirror on an ambulance, fell down, and another car that coming by hit her. Unfortunately, she died.
Well, that's what I'm talking about all the fatalities that are happening due to traffic.
There you
So
go.
he's trying to figure out something that we can do because the city's so popular that these accidents are inevitable unless there's some sort of law reinforcement.
So now what did they do? They grabbed an 84-year-old Chinese guy that couldn't even speak English.
Yeah.
And they put the handcuffs on him. The guy was frightened to death. And there just so happened to be a camera there. You're gonna enforce the law on jaywalking. What, just on that corner? It's happening all over
I
New
see
York.
which one you're talking about,
It's
yes.
happening all over New York.
Yeah.
That guy was frightened to death. He couldn't even speak English. And then, fortunately enough, I don't know if it was a passerby that spoke Chinese or something like that, and told him, that he had done something wrong.
Right.
In a case like that, I don't blame the cops out on the street. It's their superiors that are pushing the issue, because this is where that girl got killed. Let's grab a jaywalker. And they grab an 84-year-old man. You want to know something? You could have gave that guy a freaking heart attack.
Yeah.
The guy was bleeding somehow. They were dragging him and put handcuffs on him. 84 years old. Come on. Then an interpreter came by and they said, what he had done wrong, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
From what I understand, they finally cut him loose. But that's not the point. You could have gave this guy a freaking heart attack. You know, what the hell is the city coming to? And then, now here's another subject, another topic. Now, I'm not taking sides on this one.
Okay.
But there's this kid named Lilo Brancato. Now, 8 years ago, he was involved with his ex-girlfriend's father, unfortunately, that killed a cop. Now, let me emphasize that he was not the shooter. It was his ex-girlfriend's father. So, make a long story short, the other guy got life, which is great. He should have gotten life. He killed a cop. My condolences go out to that family.
Absolutely.
And Lilo was not the shooter, did not know that he had the gun, and the other guy tried to blame it on him at first, and then Lilo did not even know that he had the gun. But to make a long story short, he done 8 tough years in jail. And when you go to jail for harming a cop, those correction officers are not going to go easy on you. So he had
probably not.
8 tough years there. So I've spoken to Lilo a couple of times. Actually, I've spoken to him twice since he's been out. I went to go see him. And I talked to him a couple of times on the phone. He would call me up from jail. Now he's home, and he's trying to do the right thing.
Okay.
You know, he wants to pick up where he left off. And at that time, when he got arrested, he was involved with drugs and all this other stuff. Now he said to me, he said, Vinny, I don't want to go back to jail anymore.
Good for him.
He said, I had enough. 8 years was long enough for me, and I just want to be with my family. I want to go back to work. I don't want to get involved with anything anymore.
I can't even imagine how horrible it must have been for him.
Oh, yeah, well, 8 years is, it's a long time.
It is a long time.
Now, you got somebody, I'm not going to mention the guy's name because I'm not a rat, but he wrote an article. There was an article in the paper. I don't want to talk to him. He shouldn't call me. I don't want to talk to him. Don't call me. I don't want to have nothing to do with him. It was on Facebook. There's an old saying. I grew up in Little Italy, and there's an old saying. You got nothing nice to say. Don't say it at all. Keep your mouth shut. Now, why would somebody want to go public with something like that? I know that if there was somebody out there that I didn't want to talk to,
Right.
he'd call me up. I would say, hey, you know what? Do me a favor. Don't call me up no more. I don't want nothing to do with you. Lose my number. Leave it at that, and then hang up. But to go into the news, write an article in the paper, to go on Facebook, that. Why would somebody want to do something like that? For publicity? I mean, I don't know.
Who knows?
Brown knows the cops. I mean, I have no explanation why somebody would want to do something like that. And just I don't know. It's everything's just wrong out there. And hey, I want to say something else about the mayor. Now, I'm sorry, but this guy really. I just hope we're not running into another Giuliani. Giuliani stopped drinking in the feast when he was in office. Now, somebody buys a sausage sandwich. Yeah, San Gennaro Festival. If they buy a sausage sandwich, buy a slice of pizza, what are you going to drink? Water? Or soda?
Some people keep dehydrated.
With soda? Can't even. Years ago, you could have a margarita.
That's true.
Have a drink. Can't do that no more. And then.
It's probably that people got very rowdy. Who knows?
Then they had these stands where there's numbers from 1 to like 25. You put a quarter on a number and they spin a wheel. And if your number comes out, you want a bottle of wine or a toast machine.
Oh, wow.
They stopped that. Organized crime. I know the old lady that had the stand. She had to pay for the church to put the stand there. Whatever was like $1,000 for the 2 weeks that she was there. She says, why are they blaming organized crime? I paid the church $1,000. Then they try to say, well, that money doesn't go to the church. If you want to talk about organized crime and mafia, there's a place in my neighborhood that has these scratch-off tickets. They're from one wall to the other. And there had to be at least 60 different scratch-off tickets. Now, what is that? They said, well, you never know. Yeah, you never know. If you bought one ticket a week and you spent $20, which I don't do anymore, so you take that $20 That's $80 at the end of the month. At the end of the year, if you figure it out, it's $9,600. Take that $9,600, you can take your wife or you go mad, whatever, and go away for a weekend.
So a whole
For
chunk of
Christmas
change.
bills, you know, for Christmas, for whatever. $9,600, you're going to give it to them? I won $5 million on a scratch-off ticket, and I was a millionaire all weekend until I went down there.
Just for
And then
the
they told
weekend.
me, you know the story.
Yeah.
And that was 3 years ago. You can look it up. And they told me it was a misprinted ticket. There was a 7 on the top and a 7 on the bottom. And they said that the 7 on the bottom was supposed to be a 17. What do you mean it was supposed to be a 17? It was a 7. They said they also admitted in the newspaper that the people that printed up the ticket had a problem with the ink. They had a problem with the ink. I
Not
didn't have
you.
a problem with the ink. I should have been compensated. But no, you're not going to win. If you go to court, you try to fight the state or the city, and you want to go to court with this. You're up against a brick wall. You got a better chance of seeing Santa Claus and his reindeers flying over Little Italy in July. You're not going to win. And I went there with 4 different lawyers, a Jew, and a greaseball. He was worse than all of them. And you want to know something? Nothing. But that's another story. Then they gave me back my $20 for the ticket, like they were doing something. I told the judge what he could do with that $20. And I got more trouble.
Yeah.
We won't even get into that either. Hello, Tony. How you doing, sweetheart? Tony's a friend of mine. So, you know, it's just all these things that are going wrong. You want to know something? You want to. This money should be spent in a much better way. Help the homeless. Help people. There's people that right now the weather out there is freezing. I've seen a guy laying down over one of these vents where it throws out, I don't know if it was steam from the subway or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was all bundled up with a cardboard box all around him.
Something that is really sad.
Help these
Really
people
sad.
out. You know, if there's millions of dollars going here to the park department, to the highway department, to this department, that department, take out $1 million from here, $1 million from there, $1 million from there, $1 million from there. Put it all together, help the homeless people. You know, I mean, I donate money to St. Jude. I do a lot of fundraisers for all these different charities. I'm always out there trying to do something right. And then when you're trying to do something right, then you got these miserable people, and they say mafia. You know where the mafia is? I'll tell you. The mafia is in City Hall. The mafia is in the government, and it's in the White House. It's in Washington D.C. And they're the mafia with a license, and you can't do anything about it. How do you like that? And you're just not going to win. The only way you're going to win is if people got together and stood up for what they believe in and fight it. But they don't do that. Well, what are you going to do? Well, they're raising this. Well, they're raising that. You know what? Get up off your ass. Go out there. Do something about it. Get people together. Go to an auditorium. Get people together. And
But it's so funny. It's so ironic that you're saying this because one of his main incentives or his ideas, policies behind everything that he's doing is to
who's
get
this?
De Blasio.
Yeah.
It's to get everybody together to rise together and work hard to make this a better city. So it's really funny. It's very ironic that you're saying that because that's
Yeah.
really what he wants
But
to do.
This is what I'd like to see.
Yeah.
I'd like to see.
I'm very hopeful.
And if
I'm
so,
very hopeful.
I will apologize for anything bad that I said about him.
Yeah.
And I would thank him on all my shows for doing such a great job. I really would. Because this city hasn't had a good mayor in years. It just hasn't had a good mayor in years. It hasn't had no one running this country in years. What's his name? Clinton. Well, I took a drag, but I didn't inhale it. The governor, he's going out with hookers. A wiener, showing his weenie on television or whatever, on camera. What the hell is this coming to? Yeah, wiener, the government, what's his name, Spitzer? I mean, what the hell is this? Do you want to know something? I should be mayor. I don't even want to get paid, and I don't even want to live in Gracie Mansion. And as far as I know, he's still in Park Slope. And I wonder if he's eating pizza with a knife and fork in his house. Probably doesn't. Probably picks it up like a gavon, like everybody else does, and puts it in his mouth. Yeah. But anyway, if I was able to be mayor, I don't want to live in Gracie Mansion. And I would make sure that whatever money was being given to help this city out, it would be going to the right places. You know, because the city is falling apart big time. They close off streets. They're worried about three-wheel bicycles. And you want to grab a guy for jaywalking? Go down to Chinatown. You got these guys delivering food. They're going in every direction. Yeah. When you cross the street now, not only if you got to look at the traffic coming this way, you got to look at who's coming this way, because then you get hit with a bike. I've already mentioned one time on my show, I was crossing the street, and this guy on a bicycle, it was right there, almost, so just by reflex, I pushed him off the bike. Oh. So he went down with the Chinese food and all that, and it was cursing me out. Well, you want to know something? Tough shit. Shouldn't be going that way. You know? There's signs, you know, they should stop for red lights, but they don't. They go right through.
Not everybody follows the rules, Vinny. Unfortunately, that's the case, and then everybody else suffers for it.
Well, you want to know something? When I was up in Canada, I crossed the street. I was waiting for the light to change. It didn't change. But there was a cop car over there, but which I didn't notice. So I crossed the street. All of a sudden, when I got to the other side, whoop, 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 whoop. Cop stopped me. He says, "Can I have your papers, please? Do you have identification?" I said, "Yes." "Where are you from?" He said, "New York." He said, "You got your passport?" I said, "No, I didn't know if I had to carry it. I got it back at the hotel." I said, "Did I do something wrong?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "You were jaywalking." He said, "Do you do that in New York?" I said, "If you stand on a corner so long, they'll get you for loitering." You know? They said, "That's pretty funny. I'll let you go this time. But we don't do that here."
Yeah.
"I'm sorry." And he let me go. And they don't jaywalk. And I was watching. They do not jaywalk there. You can't do that here.
Where in Canada? Do you remember?
I think it was Winnipeg. Winnipeg, Manitoba. And I've been all over Canada. I'm surprised that I even remembered that. And, you know, there's just the laws in this country must be changed. Then you got those other people giving the knockout punches, which I've talked about on TV before. You got like 3 or 4 guys walking up the street this way, and you're walking that way, and they just step out of the crowd. And I don't know if they're hearing about it in Staten Island. Have you heard about that, Tony? Yeah. Oh, she has. Okay. They step out of the crowd and knock you out. They just sucker punch you. You go. They don't rob you. They just knock you out. And then they keep walking. And it's a big game to them. But they're not only doing it to guys. They did it to an 81-year-old woman. They did it to an 85-year-old man. A younger woman, she must have been like in her 30s or 40s. He came up from behind her, sucker punched her. She went down.
Do you know that they arrested a man for that? Barry Baldwin, they arrested him. Finally. He did had about 7 victims.
And they about 7?
And they arrested him.
Well,
Most
you know
of them
what
were
they should
Jews.
do to them?
Yeah.
They should get their hands, put it on the table, like that, get a hammer, and break their knuckles, break their hands. This way they couldn't do that no more. Then they talk about they're going to have like 4,000 cops watching the Super Bowl. 4,000 cops. Get 2,000 of them off of there. Put them in plain clothes. Put them in unmarked cars. Put them on rooftops. And watch, you know, when people, you know what? You know how you can avoid that? If you see 3 or 4 guys walking up the street and you're walking that way, you know what? Don't wait until you get near them. Just cross the street. Don't go to the other side. Walk in the middle of the street. You know, and to avoid that problem. And always walk with a friend, stay in the light. Is somebody giving me the finger back there?
Yep, we have about 5 minutes left.
Okay. He does it in the dark.
I spotted him, don't you worry.
That's the director. He keeps giving me the finger, like how many minutes we have left. But I can't see him in the dark. And God almighty. But, you know, those guys, how would they like, first of all, I just hope one of them would watch this show, because I'd like to say something. You're a punk. You're not even a man. You hit a woman. You know?
It's cowardly.
It's what?
Cowardly.
It is.
I mean, it's the type of thing that how can you go and do something like that? It doesn't make any sense to me
You're
at
right.
all.
Not
Absolutely
at all.
not.
Not at
Especially
all.
to his victims, where we're talking about the elderly, children, women,
How
people
would
who are
they?
defenseless.
How do you think they would like it if somebody did that to their mother or their father or their girlfriend or their wife? You wouldn't like it. You want to know something? You're a punk. And I hope that one of these days, when I'm walking down the street, and if I see 3 or 4 guys coming at me, you want to know something? I tell you right now, I got something in my pocket. I'll pull it out, and they're all going to see it. It's going to be to my side, and I'll make sure that they see it. And if they feel like they want to sucker punch me, go right ahead. I'm going to be waiting for one of them to blink an eye when they're walking past me. And you want to know something? And I would never kill them now. No. I would ruin them, if you know what I'm talking about.
No.
I would ruin them. They'd be a half a woman. They'd be a half a man by the time I get done with them. You know? So, laws should be changed in this country. So they caught one guy, you said?
They did.
Good.
The 35-year-old from Brooklyn.
And what are they going to do with him?
Oh, no, he's probably in jail right now. I
Yeah,
mean,
well,
after 7
what-
victims, I mean,
Yeah, well, with the law in this country, he'll probably do a year in jail and get out in 8 months.
hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Oh, boy. And one of them, my next door neighbor, and I live on Broom Street.
That's right,
The
you were
guy on
telling
my
me that.
floor.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting to run across him because they did it to him, and I want to find out where on Broom Street this was done. Because I got a son, you know, and I got
Yeah.
family over there.
Of course.
And man, if anybody ever did that to one of them, they should hope to God that I'm not around or I don't see it. They'd be serious. You don't want to know something? I would go to jail. I would go to jail. So I wouldn't tolerate that. But anyway, at least I got it off my chest.
You had a
know what I
lot
mean?
of things brewing, didn't you?
I did. I had a lot of things
topics.
really burning my ass.
Yeah,
and
you
I had to
did.
come out with it. Hello, Tony. Hello, sweetheart. It's a girl in the audience. I call her up so much, she thinks I'm stalking her. That's all right. But anyway, Mariana, I forgot
Yes.
to introduce you
It's
at the
okay.
beginning of the show.
It's fine.
This is
You were looking
Mariana,
forward to this
my
show.
co-host. I love her to death. She's a good girl.
Thank you, Vinny.
And yeah,
appreciate it.
And there isn't a thing I wouldn't do for Mariana. And
Thank you.
I like doing my show, and I just had to get this off my chest because it was bothering me. And I thought Bloomberg, what's it, Bloomberg?
Who, De Blasio?
No, Bloomberg, the other mayor.
Yeah.
The other mayor.
Yeah.
Compared to Giuliani, and this one, how he started off, I think Bloomberg was all right. You know, I don't know, but we got to see. I just
No,
hope
I think
this-
just be very optimistic because I know he's doing a lot of things that are helping the people.
there's
He
a-
is.
All right, well, I'll
Starting
give him a
with-
shot. I'll give him a shot.
There are many things that you should look into that he is doing.
Okay.
I promise you.
Just-
I mean, just
People, elect me mayor. If you have anything to say or you'd like to email me, please do so. My email is Vinny Vella, VINNY VELLASR for senior at AOL.com. Tell me what you think. Email me. You think I'm a jerk? Call me a jerk. If I'm right, tell me I'm right. Whatever.
and
I'd
he'll
like-
respond.
Huh?
You'll respond.
Oh, I will.
You will.
Regardless of what you say to me.
Regardless of what you say,
I'll
he will.
respond.
Yeah.
And
He's a man of the people.
I am. And the show is
There you
over.
go.
I love you guys. Thank you
Thank you for watching.
so much, and thank you for listening.
Thank you.
There you go. Mariana, the best,
go.
my baby. There you go.